Welcome to the United Cast. It's Entertainment Talks podcast for Man United and football. I'm your host Matthew, and today I'm talking about Manchester United's opening season defeat at home to Crystal Palace. 3-1 was the score. Terrible result, shocking display, shocking defensive display from Lindelof and Maguire. A lack of any intent, a lack of hunger, a lack of desire, a lack of game plan, losing the ball too often in midfield, not creating enough chances necessarily. Now, a lot of people before the game were saying, okay, why is McTominay starting instead of Fred? Why is James starting instead of Greenwood? Look, when you've got a squad, which we haven't got much of a squad because we lack squad depth, you've got to try different things. Now, granted, Greenwood had a very good end to the season last year. Fred did as well. But sometimes you've just got to try different things. And yeah, it's as simple as that sometimes, I suppose. There was some discussion, I think, about the fitness of a couple of players as well, but aside from team selection, which, again, the team that I'm looking at here, because I've got the team sheet up, is good enough to beat Crystal Palace. It is. So that there's not, I'm not taking the excuse of, because James played, because McTominay played, because Fosu-Mensah played that we lost. No, every player was awful in that game. The only player that showed any real spark and actually scored was Donny van de Beek. I thought he was good. He's kind of seems like a bright spark at the moment, and we'll see if he starts excuse me, the next game or whatever happens. But as I said in my kind of preview of sorts, 8 reasons to be nervous. The defence, Harry Maguire, both of them let us down. Specifically, I think Lindelof had a worse game than Maguire, but both of them were terrible. You look at that third goal. Who scored the last goal? It was Zaha, wasn't it? Yeah, 85th minute. Maguire and Lindelof are both next to Zaha. Maguire's standing off of Zaha for some reason. Lindelof can't get a hold of Zaha, and didn't have any impact on his tackle against Wilfried Zaha. And he's just managed to get the shot off because they're both there. I don't understand what both of them are doing with that third goal, because my biggest problem is with the third goal. Just the lack of closing down, first of all, the lack of sort of pressure. And again, I've pointed this out for the last, going back slightly into last season, the last 6 to 10 games maybe. Why is Harry Maguire backing off of attackers? If you go back and look at the highlights for this game, and even for some of the previous games, look at what Maguire's doing. I think it's more of an American term, but it still applies here. Jockeying. He's jockeying the attacker so much, and Lindelof's trying to grab him and do whatever. I'm still talking about the third goal. But why is Maguire backing off so much? Maguire is the £18 million money, of course, captain. He's supposed to be the leader. He's supposed to be the one that's setting an example. And I don't think either of them is more or less at fault for that goal. Maybe Lindelof is, but they both should put the tackle in. There's 2 of them on one player. You shouldn't be outnumbered. Or you shouldn't lose a situation where you have outnumbered the attacker like that. So I thought that was dreadful. Not that it's the ref's fault that we lost this game, but the referee decisions were terrible. I think it was in the first half, Martial was fouled in the box. I thought that was a foul. You can see that the player, I'm not sure the defender's name, but he's pulled Martial's shirt. He's clipped his leg, if you will, and there's contact there, and he's gone down. That's a penalty. The Lindelof handball was absolute rubbish. And then the old De Gea's an inch off his line or whatever, and then it's a second penalty and then they score it. That's a load of rubbish. Didn't agree with that either. But aside from the mistakes that we made defensively, you can still make up for that if you score enough goals. And the only reason we really did score is because the ball happened to fall to Van der Beek, and I do think it was a very good finish from him. And he took his chance. He could have easily missed it. He could have not shot. He could have gotten tackled. He could have hit it at the goalkeeper. He could have shot it wide. Anything could have happened there. So yeah, it's interesting. I saw, because obviously I spoke a little bit a minute ago about the team selection and people having problems with McTominay and Dan James starting. Both of which I think, every player has their bad day. Most players have their good days. Not everyone does, but most of them do. I think on their day, McTominay and Dan James are quite good players. Not like world class, but I think they're quite good players with ability to mature and grow. They're both young footballers. I think they've both got time on their hands. McTominay's shown a lot of promise at certain points. So has Dan James. They're both young. They're both got time to grow and develop as footballers, and I'm excited for that period of time, however long that's going to take for them to grow. But I don't know. I'm not going to put it on. I mean, I put that third goal on Maguire and Lindelof because they don't do enough to tackle Zaha. But yeah, the other goals just defensively getting ripped apart, and it goes from midfield all the way back to the defence. Pogba. Really, Fernandes, Pogba and McTominay all losing the ball. Because like I said, I'm not going to defend any player in this game because they all played really poorly apart from, the spell that we saw from Van der Beek, which I thought he looked good and scored the goal and stuff, which is good impression from your debut and all that, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. I think I put him in one of the reasons to be excited for this season, one of the three reasons, but it's so clear and obvious that we need more signings. This team needs more competition, more squad depth, which is, you can tie those two things together. I don't actually think we really put a bad player out in this game. So you got De Gea, Fosu-Mensah, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw. Sure, Lindelof and Maguire have played badly. I think they're capable of being good players. Pogba, McTominay can be really good. James Fernandes, Rashford can be really good. Martial, who was pretty quiet in this game, can be really good. You look at the bench. Eric Bailey, he's very good on his day. Greenwood's shown a lot of promise. Fred's really good. Ighalo can score goals. I don't know much about Dean Henderson, but I've heard really good things. Wan-Bissaka can be really good. And Van der Beek scored on his debut. So there isn't really... You've got none of the three players that I have problems with: Jones, Lingard, Pereira. None of them anywhere to be seen, not even on the bench or anything. Phil Jones, I think, is injured because he's been injured for the majority of his Manchester United career. But no Lingard, no Pereira, and you get Van der Beek slotted in there. That's what I was talking about, or I've been talking about for months. You need to replace those players. Aside from that, I don't have too much else to say about the performance. It's pretty obvious how every Man United fan feels. We feel disappointed with this game, with the performance. We feel disappointed with the transfer market particularly. I think it's a particular thing as well with not just the fact that we've only brought one player, but you look at Arsenal, they've signed 2 or 3 players. Man City signed 2 or 3 players. Chelsea have signed about 15 players. Now they've signed about, 6 or something? They have signed quite a few players, Chelsea. They've gone out and signed players. Liverpool just got Thiago, who we were in for, or may or may not have been in for, depending on what you believe. But all those opportunities are gone. Sancho, what have we been doing for 2 months? That deal should have been done ages ago. Alex Telles, who we've been with, what's going on there? What are we doing, Reguilon, who I think is going or has gone to Tottenham. What did we do there? Why did we mess that up? It's just a case of saving money, isn't it? From trying your hardest not to buy players. So anyway, I don't have too much else to say about the performance. The 3 goals, one was a penalty, one was the Zaha goal that we should have easily stopped. Van der Beek scored a good goal, and Townsend scored the early goal as well. There's just I could sit here for a long time talking about all the defensive mistakes. You look back at the first goal, which I guess is the only other in play goal to sort of talk about, because the other one was a penalty, of course. Fosu-Mensah doesn't. None of those back four really pick up who they should be picking up. Maguire particularly, and Lindelof. Lindelof's not holding off whoever I think put the cross in. Maguire is just in no man's land, marking nobody. Luke Shaw doesn't get whoever his man was on the back post, and they score. So marking terrible. Just I could go on, but I think we know the situation here. So anyway, let's take a break. We'll go into some housekeeping.
Hey there, I'm Aaron Holman, host of Eye to Eye, a weekly podcast talk show all about
I
passion,
have this passion and this fire within me that burns brighter than the fire around me.
flow,
With performing, there's always a story to tell, whether it's my own or
and
not.
creativity.
I go, he's more than cute, he's creative.
All with an LGBT twist. Make sure to check out Eye to Eye, that's EYE, number 2, letter I. And rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in today.
I'm Christy.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are Killer Fun. We explore the intersection of crime and entertainment every other week.
For as long as people have been communicating, they have been talking about who did what to whom, and is that socially acceptable?
Because the boundaries of society,
crime,
and entertainment have always gone hand in hand.
The more salacious,
or weird,
the better. From books and movies
to television shows and games,
we look at how life and art imitate and inform one another.
And we can't get together and not laugh. So let's face it, there's going to be laughing.
Killer Fun is available anywhere you listen to podcasts, so join us.
If you'd like to get started with a domain name and a website today, just click on the link in the show notes and that will take you over to Koalu to get started. They also have a live support chat system that you can use, which is in the bottom right hand corner. So get started with a new website and domain name today with Koalu. Hey everybody, if you would like to get the ad-free versions of all of our podcasts and support Entertainment Talk along the way, all you need to do is head over to patreon.com/entertainment talk. Sign up either as a creator or as a Patreon. There's no difference there. That's just the option for either becoming a creator now or just staying as a patron for the moment. And then all you need to do is support us at the $1 level tier. That will get you access to all of the ad-free podcasts that we've done in the past, and get you access to all the ad-free podcasts in that month as well. So it's a great way to support us on Entertainment Talk and to get rid of the ads and get your ad-free podcasts. You can also become a patron at the $3 level tier. That gets you access to ad-free podcasts and allows you to redeem a review of a TV show or a film of entirely your choice. That's one per month for either a TV show or a film review, which is at the $3 level tier. As always, thank you very much for listening. Back to the show. Alright, so recently on Entertainment Talk, what have we got here? Quite a few different things. Me and Gray did another TV Talk episode. We talked about Amazon's Little Fires Everywhere. We talked about Criminal, the first and the second season, which is on Netflix. And we talked about Prodigal Son, 911, animated TV shows, just a whole bunch of stuff really. So go and have a look out for that if you're interested. Continuing the Boys podcast, The Boys on Amazon Prime, of course, Season 2, Episode 5, which is the latest episode. So I've covered all the episodes so far for Season 2. And did, of course, my Season 1 review last year. Random Gaming Talk this week. We talked about some new PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X info. If you can find one, you can go and pre-order a PlayStation 5. You'll be able to pre-order an Xbox Series X soon. We saw another presentation from Sony for PlayStation 5 itself. Saw some new games, saw some games we've already seen, some new gameplay for them, and some other bits and pieces as well. My impressions for Crash Bandicoot 4 now that the demo is out and everything like that. So talked about all those things. Becoming Heisenberg for Breaking Bad on AMC and Netflix for Season 1 Episode 2. So we talked about that this week. The whole season's been scheduled podcast wise, so look out for Episode 3 podcast on Wednesday. So there's that as well. United Cast, like I said earlier, 8 reasons to be nervous and 3 reasons to be excited for the current 20 to 21 season, so you can have a listen to that as well. Top 5 best PlayStation 1 games, me and Barry did that podcast talking about all those different things, and yeah, you could probably guess what my number one is if you know me and that sort of thing. So we talked about that, our top 5 best PlayStation 1 games. And that's pretty much everything we've been doing on entertainmenttalk.org and on podcast platforms. Alright, let's get into player ratings. Now I will say, let me see, where's the lineups? David De Gea let in 3 goals, did make a couple of good saves. I'll give him a 5. I don't know, he was average. He made a couple of good saves, but he was let down severely by his defence. Fossey Mensah, I'll give him an average score as well. I don't think he was great, not bad. I don't know, just a kind of average game. I'll give him a 5. Lindelof and Maguire both get a 1 because they were dreadful again and they do not work as a partnership. I don't know if either of them have got really a future at Manchester United. I think Maguire's got maybe a longer future just because he's sort of just got here. This is his second season. But as I've been saying for weeks, yeah, they need to... Ollie needs to change that defensive partnership because it's clearly not working. So they both get a 1. Luke Shaw, I thought, had a fairly good game apart from the defensive mistakes. Attacking-wise, he was good. I thought he had a decent game, but still not great. I guess I'll give him like an average 5 as well. Pogba and McTominay both lost the ball too much, didn't do enough really. I think they had like a shot each or something like that. I'll give them a 4. I think they had a below average performance. Dan James didn't get really the chance to do too much. Again, just not a great performance there, particularly necessarily. I'll give him a 5 as well. I think I'll give... I don't know, everyone else gets sort of a 4 or a 5. No one really had a good game. They all had a pretty awful game at certain points. A couple of them tried a bit harder than others, namely players like Bruno. Rashford was okay, I guess. Martial was particularly quiet. Fernandes did some interesting stuff. I feel like our best player was probably Bruno Fernandes. So, yeah, there's that as well. But, yeah, I didn't particularly want to spend too long on this podcast today. I don't want to sit here and just be negative for 20 minutes, which is what I've almost done. So, I think I'll just leave it at that for today. I don't know. I don't want to sit here for 20, 30 minutes just telling you about the problems that you already know this team's got. So, we do play against, what was the fixture? Sorry, it was on Tuesday. Where's the game gone? Carabao Cup. Yes, Luton, away to Luton, which, goodness help us if we don't win that. Away to Luton, Tuesday, 8:15, so I'll do the podcast Wednesday or something like that, so we shall see. Anyway, what did you think of this Manchester United match? Who do you think was the worst? Who do you think was the best? What do you think of the goals, the defensive mistakes, all that sort of stuff? Let me know your thoughts, feelings, questions, comments, and I'm sure you have concerns about the Manchester United squad or anything related to Entertainment Talk. Matthew at entertainmenttalk.org, Twitter eTalkUK, there's contact page and information in your show notes as well. Thank you all very much for listening. You can find everything that we've got on entertainmenttalk.org. If you want to support the podcast and Entertainment Talk, we're on Patreon. You can have a look at the $1 and $3 level tiers for ad-free podcast, instant podcast, and review options. Amazon affiliate link if you want to shop on Amazon. We can get some more cut of what you spend. It won't cost you extra. iTunes feeds, please rate, review, subscribe to those. You can also search for David, of course, on Geektown, geektown.co.uk if you're up to date, reliable TV and film news. So yeah, check out, search for Geektown on iTunes and podcast services, or go to geektown.co.uk. Bex is streaming daily on Twitch. Trista Bytes, that's Trista, B-Y-T-E-S, Trista, B-Y-T-E-S. Go and search for her on Twitch. Follow her, subscribe to her, all that good stuff as well. Word of mouth, you can simply tell people that you know about the website and the iTunes feeds, social media, Facebook, Twitter, all that sort of stuff. And look out for Let's Play Sundays as well. Thank you all very much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.